Hello, welcome to another video from EarnPed.com. I am Stevie B. Happy to have you all with me here today as I'm back on Planet Cyrene at the 0x101 Supply Depot Teleporter. And boy, do I have something special for you guys today. So let's get started with some big O sips. So guys, today I am going to show you what I consider to be the ultimate mining mission and mining mission stack in Entropia Universe. And I've got some big news that I want to share with you guys as we get started. So first thing I want to do is I've already got over 200 ARC faction badges. So I want to come to the supply depot and I want to talk to Leah, the ARC Relief Collections person. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick up my missions for these 3 mining dailies that will reward me with ARC faction badges. So I'm going to go ahead and get these. And before you get started doing this, the biggest thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to stack all of your mining missions. And I'm going to show you guys how to stack it. And then I'm going to show you the route we're going to run that is the perfect route. I'm going to explain what the perfect gear is to use it. And I'm going to explain all the rewards that you're going to be able to get. I'm doing this because my HP is very weapons heavy. And I'm trying to gain a whole bunch of HP from mining by doing this particular stack. But in doing this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it with literally no cost, close to no cost, or possibly even making a profit. I know, weird, right? Like I'm telling you guys, this is the ultimate stack. So as you can see, because I have 200 ARC faction badges, I already picked up these 3 right here. I'm going to exit these off the screen. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hop over to the ARC staging teleporter. This is going to be the perfect mining stack for new players, low-level players, or maybe you're a veteran player, but you just want to get some HP from mining and mining skills without having to incur a ton of cost. So here we are at ARC Staging here on Planet Cyrene, and we've got a couple of different bots we can go to. So these 2 bots down here are our Iron Mining Challenge bot, Prospector and Surveyor. You're going to want to get all the missions from them. And those are going to be your old school iron mining missions. Then we're going to come up here to Will Andrews, the Reserve Excavator, and we're going to get some missions from him. I think I actually have a couple to turn into him, but I'm going to go ahead and grab these from him. So, yep, okay, cool. I got that one. I think I'm turning in a couple at the moment. Yep, okay, I turned one in and I got one. And then you can also come down here to Minerbot, and he will give you a daily mission that essentially you bring him back 5 yellow crystals, and he will reward you with a Cyrene Mission Token. I'm not going to get that one right now because I want to stay focused on the stuff that gives skill gains. So these iron mission chains from these 2 bots down here, like I said, those are the old school chains. You'll definitely want to have those running. And then I like doing the daily from Will Andrews, even though the reward amount is not a ton. But then what we're going to do is we're going to jump up here to the tip-top right-hand part of the map where it says Risen Island Teleporter. We're going to jump over here. And again, it's not just how we stack these missions. There's a very specific way we're going to do all of this that is going to be exceedingly cost effective and possibly even very profitable. So we're going to run over. And the next place we want to go, where is our miner bot buddy? There's a miner bot here somewhere. Where'd he go? There he is, right here, Miner 4900 bot. So he's going to give you a mission chain I already have active. I'll pull it up on screen for you. So yes, on the map it calls this Risen Island, but it used to be called Miner's Paradise or Miner's Island. So the mission you get from this bot right here is Miner's Paradise, this one that you see right here, which I'm currently on rank 4. And we'll go over all these missions here in just a second. You'll see why this is so important. But then, once we have all those, we're going to want to pick up one more mission that is going to be exceedingly important. So, what mission is that? Well, if I go to my missions, because I've already got mine running, and I'm sure you guys either know where to get this, or if you don't, you can get it off of cyrenedream.org. It has the waypoint, tells you exactly where to go get this mission. But the Zinviathan Part 5 of 10, Stone and Rock. Now this is the mission for coin number 5 of 10 for the epic jellyworm pet. So if you guys are familiar at all with the epic jellyworm pet, there's 10 coins that you need to put together in order to get the pet. Each one is very difficult to get, and this is number 5 of 10, probably the rarest of the 5 coins. It's a very difficult coin to get, very difficult mission to complete, but again, I'm going to show you guys today how to do shortcuts to make this very, very, very profitable if you do it right. So you're going to want to have this mission as well. Again, you can find the waypoints to get the missions, all 10 of them for the jellyworm pet, on CyreneDream.org. Now, before we go anywhere, I need to explain why I am making this video and why it is going to be so much longer than usual and why I am feeling generous in putting this information out there for you guys today. In real life, over the past week, I've had some things happen. And I can't go into detail on what they are, but needless to say, essentially what happened was somebody was doing wrong, and I was not willing to keep my mouth shut about it, and as a result, now I might have to essentially deal with some things and people and stuff like that. So if you guys want to help support me right now, because I could really use the support of the community from this point forward until this is all resolved, the only thing I'm asking of you guys is just watch all the videos on the channel, like every single day. Like watch every single video, every single playlist, just put it on repeat if you have to. The more watch time I can get from you guys, the more support that will give me. Obviously, because, you know, this is a partner account and all that good stuff. Also, I'm going to be trying to put out videos as fast as I can over the next couple of weeks and months. I'm going to shoot to do one every 2 to 3 days. If I can do one a day, great. If it's a little bit slower than that, I don't want to put out junk content. I want to give you guys good, useful information, good content that you can use. But I'm going to do that because not only do I need you guys to be watching the previous videos to help support me, but obviously watching the current videos I put out, liking them, commenting on them, stuff like that. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, please subscribe to the channel. Anything you can do like that will help me. Depending on how this goes over the next week, week and a half, 2 weeks, if everything gets resolved and I'm back to normal and everything's good with the world, cool. If this has to go another direction, there will probably be a GoFundMe set up at that point, and at that point the full story will come out. You guys will know exactly what's going on, what all the details are, and you guys can decide if backing me in this fight is something you guys are interested in doing and something you believe is a moral and righteous cause or not. But we will get to that later on. I don't want to jump the gun and go there today. You know, let's give it a week, 2 weeks, see how things play out. And if we have to go the other way, which I really don't want to do, but if we do, we'll go that way. And obviously there will be full disclosure about what's going on at that point if that ends up happening. So getting back to the video, sorry about that little intermission there. Getting back to the video, now that we've got all of our missions, let's hop over to where we're going to start our perfect run at, and I will explain to you guys the gear that you're going to need. So we're going to go down here to the Ice Plateau Outskirts Teleporter. Now, on the Zenviathan Part 5 of 10 Stone and Rock mission you see on my screen right now, the one for the Epic Jellyworm Pet, you guys will notice I have a progress bar. If you pick this up today, you won't have a progress bar. You'll have a counter that will say 0 over 5,000. And the goal of this Part 5 of 10 mission right here, Stone and Rock, is you have to find a Laren Stone 5,000 times in order to complete this mission. So again, mine's a progress bar. Y'all's will actually have a counter if you pick this mission up today. I got this when it very first came out, been working on it ever since, slowly but surely. So I'm over halfway done. I just don't know exactly how far over halfway done, but you guys will have an exact counter. Now, the key to this mission is you have to find a Laren Stone 5,000 times. It doesn't matter how big the deposit is. It doesn't matter how much you pull out of the ground. You have to physically find 5,000 claims specifically for a Laren Stone in order to get this mission to function. Now, the gear we're going to want for this mission is going to kind of vary, but there's only a couple of really good options. So first of all, I grabbed some of these mining finders from the TT here on Planet Cyrene. So you're going to go through a ton of these limited TT mining finders. These are by far the best finders because they've got very little decay and they only use 2 probes for, I believe that's surveying, and 1 probe for the other one, prospecting, or maybe it's backwards. But anyway, 3 probes total. So if you're going for both in matter and regular ore, it's only 3 probes per drop, not the typical 30. So 1/10 the cost. And like I said, there's very little decay. And the great thing is, when you're done with them, you can literally just come to a TT. You can sell them off. And then you can just buy more. I buy 8 at a time. You really only need 4 per run. But I buy 8 at a time so I can do 2 runs back to back. So, and then you'll either have to have universal ammo on you, or you'll actually have to have survey probes. So in this case, I just went ahead and grabbed some survey probes. And the great thing about this is because we're using TT mining finders, and because the cost is so low, that means that there's a very good chance we're going to get back very, very, very close to our cost of use. So normally, we have to make our money off markup, which that's still going to be true. But in this case, because we're using TT gear, instead of 70, 75, 80% returns, I fully expect to get closer to 90, 95, maybe even close to 100% returns pretty well, pretty consistently, the vast majority of the time. Now, long term, those numbers are going to approach 100% because it's TT gear. They're going to fall somewhere between 95 to 100%. But again, we have to find a Laren stone 5,000 times. So by the time you finish this mission right here, then the TT part will kind of take care of itself. There might be a little loss, but there's not going to be much. But here is a big thing you guys are going to want to know, because not only is the mining finder important, the excavator we use is very important. So luckily, I have one of these. You guys will probably not be able to get one of these. This is the Earth Excavator MEO1 Unlimited. This is the old school Calypso Trade Terminal Unlimited excavator from the old trade terminal on Cali when the game first started. This is one of the most eco excavators in game that doesn't cost an arm and a leg to try and get your hand on. Couple hundred pet if you can find one for sale. Now, most people are not going to be able to get this, but there's another excavator that is almost just as good. I mean, they're almost identical. And it's one of the most popular excavators in the game. It's the TT excavator, the Exhumer from Next Island. The one that you always see people putting in Cali trade saying, hey, it's tier increase rate 200 of 200, and they're willing to sell it for a couple of ped. It's unlimited. It's in the trade terminal in Next Island. You can go right now and you can snag as many of them as you want to snag. Now, the thing is, if I was going to do this exact mission chain and all this stack that I'm doing right now with the Exhumer, I would probably get 5 or 6 Exhumers to keep on me, just because of decay and repairs and all that. You don't want to be out pulling stuff out of the ground and your Exhumer break and you got to run all the way back to repair terminal to repair it. So if you've got 4, 5, 6 Exhumers on you, then I wouldn't worry about it too much. So, I mean, they're like 2 pet a piece in the trade terminal. They're unlimited. You can repair them as many times as you want. Go grab you 4 or 5 of them, and that way you're set. And if you end up where you're not breaking even 1 per run, cool. You can put the other couple in storage or sell them back to the trade terminal. No loss. So you'll want to be sure you either have this Earth Excavator MEO1 or the Exhumer from Next Island. Most of you will probably go with the Exhumer from Next Island. So I'm going to start running what I consider the perfect route for this mission stack. And as I do, I will explain how this is all going to come together to give us huge skill gains, profit, and everything else. So let's start. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit R, and I'm just going to start hitting E to make it drop. And I'm just hitting E, and because reason I'm doing that, I want it to drop as soon as possible. I'm not interested in getting far enough away to have no overlap. I want a little bit of overlap, if at all possible, which is not normally how mining works. Normally, you look at the radius, you multiply by 2, and you make sure you don't drop any sooner than that because you don't want overlap. This is one of the rare cases where I'm actually okay with overlap because my goal is just to get as many probes in the ground as fast as I possibly can. So I'm going to move my mining stuff over here out of the way, and I'm going to bring my map down here where you guys can see it. There we go. Okay, and I want you guys to see where I'm running. I'm running from the Ice Plateau Outskirts teleporter, kind of straight toward the Rift Station teleporter. And I want you guys to be able to see the mobs that are going to be on the map and all that good stuff so you guys can know this exact route. So how does this all come together? Why did we stack all these missions like this? Well, glad you asked. So I'm going to turn right about here because these are level 24 sea race. I want to stay a little bit away from them. And then I'm going to drop and I'm going to head back toward where I just came from instantly. So how does this all come together? Well, you notice I'm going for ores and in matter. So here's what's really cool. All of the missions kind of work together. So like the Miner's Paradise mission for Risen Island, it is supposed to only work on Risen Island. In reality, any mining find anywhere on Cyrene counts toward that mission. So I don't just have to do all that mining on Risen Island to complete the Miner's Paradise mission chain. I can do it anywhere on Planet Cyrene. Same is true with all of those old iron mission chains that we got from those 2 bots at the Ark staging teleporter. And then same is true with the repeatables and the dailies that you saw me pick up at the beginning of the video. It doesn't matter where I do those missions as long as they're being done on Planet Cyrene. So I'm actually a little bit to the left of where I like to be. I like to, on this first run back, I like to try and be right about over here. And then my finder will break here in 1 or 2 uses. It kind of varies a little bit depending on how close you go to the sea race. I immediately cut back south, and I want to try and make one more drop at the very end of this little nebula right here. And my finder broke, so I'm going to switch to finder number 2. You're going to go through about 4 per run. Before I do, I'm going to get set up going back east. Alright, and drop, and we're going to take back off. So how it normally works, all of those other missions, everything except for this stone and rock mission, that is the big one for the jellyworm pet, all those other missions, they work based off of points, essentially the size of the finds. So if you find a giant find, let's say you're mining amped, and you just hit a giant find of blue icy crystal, your blue icy crystal mission is going to get a whole lot of points toward completion because of the fact that the find is so big. So the bigger the find, the more points toward completing the mission you will receive on all of those other missions. Again, the exception being this part 5 of 10 stone and rock we're working on. So if you find small finds, then you're going to get very, very small amounts of points towards completing those missions. And with the TT finder, you can find something and actually get no points for finding it. And that's because if you find a claim that is so small, it's like minuscule, like the smallest thing possible, something you could only find with a TT finder, then essentially what the system does is the system rolls a set of virtual dice and it says, okay, do we award points toward mission completion or not? And we'll go over all the numbers for what those odds of getting points for completion are here in a minute. But the key to the whole thing is because even though with tiny finds you at least sometimes get progress toward completing those missions, what ends up happening is as you're using the TT finder to run this route and work on this mission for the jellyworm pet coin, those other missions are automatically going to end up completing over time. Because remember, this one we're working on for the jellyworm pet, this is the only one where we have to find this claim 5,000 times. All the other missions are based off size of claim, which means by the time we're done finding this particular resource 5,000 times, we are going to be very, very, very close to completing some of those missions, and we're going to have already completed several of them. In fact, this is a very good way to get up into the higher ranks and higher levels of those other mission chains without having to do anything additional, because you're stacking everything together. If you focus on this one being the cornerstone, this Leviathan part 5 of 10, if this is the mission you're worried about completing, then the other missions will start completing and start ranking up as you focus on this one. You don't even have to think about the other ones. And the most amazing part of this whole thing is all of those other missions, again, this one just gives us a coin that we can put with our other 9 coins to get a jellyworm pet, right? But guess what? All of those other missions, they award, that's right, mining skills. And here's what's really cool. Obviously, at first, the mining skill rewards are not a ton. On the lower levels, it's going to be very small awards. But when you can get up to rank 4 or 5 or even beyond, because some of them even go beyond rank 5, I believe, you're talking exceedingly high levels of mining skills that are being rewarded for those missions. Now, it's very hard to get there. It's going to either take you a whole lot of time by doing it this way that I'm showing you, or it's going to cost you a whole lot of money if you decide to go with another type of mining finder that uses 30 probes at a time and has regular hit rates or even amped. So obviously if you go that other way and you do this with other gear, you can complete those missions much, much faster, but it's not going to be nearly as cost effective. And keep in mind, again, as with everything in Entropia, notice I'm kind of maneuvering around the tide claws a little bit. These are very low-level tide claws, so they're really not a big deal. And if you're running fast enough, you can actually just outrun them. Usually I won't even kill them unless I'm dragging them too far away and putting them in a weird spot. But one of the things that we know about Entropia, you have to go for markup. You're always going to make some amount less than what you put in. So if I spend 100 ped mining, I'm going to expect to get back 95 to 98 ped, somewhere in there, if I'm using a TT finder. Now again, that's a long-term number. I've had runs where I get back 80 ped, 85 ped, whatever. But long-term, I'm expecting 95 to 98-ish% returns, even with TT gear. But the thing about it is, on Cyrene, a lot of the stuff that we're mining up really doesn't have a ton of markup. It doesn't have a ton of demand. So completing all of these mission chains and trying to turn around and sell all of your loot for markup would be absolutely impossible. It could not be done. You would have too much loot, not enough demand, and not enough markup. But there is a way we can take the loot from what we're doing right now, the stuff we're about to pull out of the ground, and there's a way we can change that, which can actually make this a fairly profitable, if not decently profitable endeavor, so that you don't have to do this at a loss. You can do this at practically break even or potentially even profit when it's all said and done. And we'll get into those steps later. I'll probably save what to do with your loot to make that markup happen. I will probably save that for a part 2 video. I will probably try and put out tomorrow or maybe the day after, because this is only about half of the job. The other half of the job comes after you get everything out of the ground and you're decided to go to bed for the night. So the other half of this, the half that will actually lead to markup and potentially break even or profit, the good news is you can do that part in your sleep. Literally. I do it while I'm asleep, and I will show you guys that in part 2, which will be, like I said, either tomorrow, day after, somewhere in there, maybe a couple days, because it's the 4th of July weekend. But this is probably one of the best stacks I've ever seen, because it allows you to get all of these mining skills at a very, very low cost, without much, if any, loss. Now, it is time consuming, but you're going to have to spend the time anyway, because of the fact that this mission right here is based off number of times you find it, not how big it is. And I've actually had people ask me, well, shouldn't I do this with a bigger mining finder to complete those missions faster? No, because it's not going to complete them faster. Because since you have to find this one 5,000 times, and since that's the one you're focusing on, and everything else is just a byproduct, if you use a bigger finder, it's going to take you a lot longer to get those claims out of the ground. So instead of spending time using a bigger finder and spending more time pulling claims out of the ground, by using the TT finder, another benefit we have is we minimize the amount of time we have to spend pulling stuff out of the ground, which means we can maximize the amount of time we can spend dropping probes and trying to complete this mission. Now, you've just seen me finish the path. What I do is I go right here to this teleporter, the Rift Station. You guys literally just saw the exact path I take every single time. And what I'm going to do is I am going to hop back over to the starting point. Now I'm over here, so we're going to jump back over here to the left to the Icy Plateau outskirts. And now I'm going to start excavating my claims. And by the time I get done excavating my claims, enough time will have passed, I can immediately start another run. So I'm going to show you a few more secrets, and before I get all these claims out of the ground, I will stop and explain the missions to you. But look at all the claims I have, okay? So I'm going to add all the waypoints. I'm going to go pull them all up out of the ground. But one thing that I've found is very helpful is I keep my Ascension Striders on me. And I also keep my Strider MK1 on me. Hoverboards might work as well. But if the claims are really close together like these two, what I will do is I will just go ahead and I will get them out and I will run to the next claim. But sometimes if they're a ways away, depending on how far away they are, I will pull out a vehicle like a hoverboard or a Strider or whatever, and then I will just zippity zip over. And that saves me a little bit of run time, which I know it's just a little bit, but again, you have to do this thousands of times, so even a few seconds is a huge savings whenever you add it up over the course of completing the entire mission. So, and like this one, that was a little bit bigger claim. Okay, but now before I go pick up everything else out of the ground, let me pull up my mission chain and show you what I mean by it does a virtual roll to see if it's going to award points or not. So I'm going to scroll down, and I want to get to my mining missions. So here we have my repeatable for iridium, kazanite, blah blah blah. You're not going to get those in this part of the map, but this is my Zorn Star repeatable. So I just completed it, so I can go back and talk to Will Andrews and get a reward for that, which will be skill points. I just completed the one you saw me pick up at the beginning of the video for Find Blue Crystal. I can go back to Will Andrews, get skill points for that. But let's look at Miner's Paradise. I'm on rank 4, so I've already completed ranks 1, 2, and 3. All from what I've just shown you right here in the video. And now I'm already on rank 4, where I have to find 10,000 points of mining deposits. And notice I've already found 1,423. That's in addition to everything that came before it for ranks 1, 2, and 3. Next, I can go down to my Mining Iron Challenge for Blue Crystal. And notice I'm on rank 2. And I've found 65 of 500 points worth of Blue Crystal deposits. But now look at how the points are awarded. So like I said, the smaller the find, the less points you get. The bigger the find, the more points you get. So if I found the biggest possible claim, Mammoth and up, I would automatically get 60,000 points. And bam, I would be done with this 500 point mission. But again, I'm using a TT finder, so most of my stuff is going to be either minimal, tiny, very poor. Sometimes you'll get a poor. And, you know, every now and then you do manage to get a global, but it's few and far between. I hit one the other day. I hit a 96 ped global on Alarin Stone over here. But, again, that's the system evening out your returns, right? So most of your finds are going to be minimal, tiny, or very poor. So if you get a minimal find, then there's a 5% chance that you get 1 point towards mission completion. So I need 500 points. And if I get a minimal find, there's a 5% chance that I get 1 point towards completing that. So for every 20 minimal finds I get, I'm going to get 1 point. I know that's not great. But you're going to get a lot of tiny claims. And tiny claims give you a 25% chance for 1 point. Which means that you only have to get 4 tiny claims to get a point toward mission completion. Very poor gets you 1 point, poor gets you 2 points, small gets you 3 points, and modest gets you 5 points. So most of your claims doing this are going to be right in this area, minimal to modest. And that is how these missions start to complete. So right now I'm on rank 2 for Blue Crystal. I've already completed rank 1. If we go down to the other stuff that I find here a lot, I don't find a lot of this stuff here. But again, I do find Alarin Stone here, because that's what we're after. Notice I'm already on rank 3. And with rank 3, I need to find 1,000 points. I've already found 393 points. So I've already completed ranks 1 and 2, and now I'm working on rank 3, and I'm about 40% of the way there. And then also, you're going to find a lot of yellow crystal here. So notice, again, I'm on rank 2 for just the yellow crystal. 187 over 500 points. And again, I haven't focused on these missions at all. These missions have just naturally been completing while I've been working on getting this mission completion for the Jellyworm pet. And then you're also going to find a lot of Zorn Star here. So I'm on rank 3 for Zorn Star, and I've already found 130 of the 1,000 points worth of Zorn Star that I need. And again, it's going to be the same for all of these. Minimal, 5% chance for a point. Tiny, 25% chance for a point. Very poor, poor, small, and modest at 5 points. That's where all your claims for all these missions are going to be. And that's just how it is. So they all kind of work in tandem. So by doing that, that means that as I complete this Jellyworm Pet mission, I'm going to be automatically completing these, getting to the higher ranks, And especially when you get into like rank 4, rank 5, and even beyond for the ones that go beyond rank 5, rank 4 and 5 are where the skill rewards really start to kick in. So that's where you really start seeing fairly large TT value of point rewards for those mission chains, which means that by the time I'm done with this mission chain and I finally get this coin for this jellyworm pet, what's going to end up happening is I'm going to have claimed so many of these mission rewards, my mining skills are going to be absolutely off the chart. And then in addition, because of those skills going up so vastly, I'm going to be gaining HP from a lot of those skills, which means my HP will not be almost entirely hunting dependent now. I will be getting a lot of that HP specifically from mining. And that means that I will have more HP than somebody who has never mined a day in their game and focuses only on hunting. They will never be able to get those HP points because you can only get them from mining. So I know this has been a long video. I hope it's been exceedingly informative. I hope you guys have an easy understanding of the mission stack, the equipment you're going to want to use, how the stacking of the missions work, what to focus on, and have a realistic expectation of what to expect as far as TT returns and cost to do this mission. It's a very cheap run to do for people who are on a limited budget but want to progress and work towards goals and like grinding. This is the perfect mission. So like I said, there is a part 2 to this, and that is where we take all the stuff we're pulling out of the ground right now and we turn it into something profitable, and that's what's going to get us to break even or possibly even profit territory long term. I will show you guys how to do that in a follow-up video that I hope to release either tomorrow, maybe the day after. Like I said, it's the holiday weekend. And like I said, guys, right now, I'm kind of going through it in real life. I'm not asking anybody to donate money or anything like that at this point in the game. Right now, I want to give it another week, maybe 2 weeks. I've got a lot of meetings set up, a lot of appointments. A lot of people are still trying to figure out how they want to proceed. And, I mean, if anything, if you would, just throw some prayers up for me that this all gets resolved in the next 2 weeks the way that is best to resolve it. And if you really want to help support me in this time, right now, the best thing you guys can do, just watch every video every day. Put those playlists on this channel on repeat. When I release a new video, like, subscribe, comment on that video, do some interacting with it to get it on the favorable side of the algorithm. And obviously, I'm going to be releasing as much new content as I can. I just want it to be good content for you guys. Should worse come to worse and this doesn't get resolved the easy way and we've got to do this the less pleasant way, at that point there will be full disclosure about what's going on, and then, like I said, I'll probably set up a GoFundMe and you guys will be able to decide, is this something ethically, morally you feel is a fight that needs to be fought, or you guys can make your own decision on that. But again, I'm not doing that yet. I want to give it about 2 weeks and see if this can get resolved another way. So I'm going to leave it there for today. Sip, sip, smack, smack. I hope you guys have really enjoyed this. If you guys know of any other great mining stacks in-game, on Cyrene, off Cyrene, let me know in the comments. What are your favorite mining missions? How do you like to stack them? Have you seen other ways to stack other missions, crafting missions, hunting missions, other stuff from mining that kind of works in a similar way that can get you insane amounts of rewards without having to focus on a whole bunch of different things, without a lot of cost and stuff like that involved? If you guys know of anything like that, leave it in the comments below, and I will be back with more for you later this week. Take care, Stevies.